has successfully been repaired.
Okay, there we go. Awesome. All right, it doesn't look like we're having any questions. Oh, there we go. What does FRB stand for? There's a good question.
All right, did you want to field this one, sir?
Sure. FRB actually stands for fewer resources per base, which was an idea basically put out there by Baron to essentially make matches or make maps rather with less minerals in the bases and less gas. Basically, this will enforce more macro style play and less one base all-ins, which is something that we all have a problem with. Here's another question for you to answer if you want to.
My chat is actually a little bit buggy right now,
Okay.
so if you could read it out loud, I'll be happy to respond.
Well, the question is, how did we all get this high caliber level of players involved?
A huge amount of that actually goes out to Yaki,
Yeah.
who has also not been getting enough credit in our shoutouts. Yaki is the third person in our three-man team. He has been just the most unbelievably awesome producer that we
Yeah.
could ever have asked for. He's been consistently getting in contact with sponsors that might want to donate, with players that might want to take part, and really just through the gift of a silver tongue, convincing people that this is an awesome thing and that it's worth their time. And the response has just been amazing. Though, as the groundswell continued to build up, eventually people started contacting us on their own. It was actually Rainbow's own idea to take part in this tournament. So it was basically a combination of some really awesome work done by Yaki and also the community themselves. As this idea got more popularity, some of the pros kind of stumbled across it and thought, maybe I do actually want to check out what this is.
Yes, indeed. So it looks like we have some more questions. This guy's asking, from what we've seen, what unit rebalancing do we think would be needed for FRB? I don't know if I'm really in a place to like actually say. I think we need to see probably more high-level matches. As obviously each match has kind of had its thing that led, or like a few things that led to the loss. So I don't think it's based around one unit. What would you say about that one?
There have been some suggestions among the community. If you want to see a lot more discussion on this, go to the Breadth of Gameplay thread, which is where Baron and somebody else asked who had the original idea for this. Baron is the awesome person who did all of the math to kind of support like how things were different in Brood War and why their kind of model of more bases might be something to be emulated and to just like bring StarCraft to bring into StarCraft 2. And so you can see a lot of discussion there. There have been some discussion of mules being imbalanced because they don't kind of like max out on a base as quickly. But the ability to orbital spam is also noticeably lessened because you just have less money overall. There's been some talk about certain timings in Zerg versus Protoss being something of an issue, though that's also open to question because there have been a couple of builds that have been specifically designed to deal with that kind of early pressure that have been quite successful so far, and that's really part of the reason why we're running this tournament is that until the pro players get their hands on it, it's very difficult to say that one strategy or another is obviously totally
Right.
imbalanced and that it's not something that can be handled by a shift in the metagame rather than a rebalancing of units.
Yes, indeed. So let's look at some more questions here. How many people are contributing to FRB? How did we get involved? I'll go ahead and answer this one. A ton of people are actually contributing. I will say, though, Tutori, as you can see in this chat, has actively been posting in the chat. First contributed the $100 that we needed to really kickstart the tournament success. After that, a lot more people started contributing, and of course, better, higher-level players started being interested in the game. So shout out to Tutori. You're the man. You are very much a part of what made this happen. As far as how we got involved, I was basically just browsing TL. I saw the Breadth of Gameplay post, and I was like, hey, these games might be fun to cast. I wanted to get a little bit more into casting, and so I just, basically saw that opportunity. How about you, Senex?
Actually, a pretty similar story. I was just kind of like looking around. I saw that one thread and kind of hopped in order to check it out. And really, I was just totally kind of enthralled by the idea because a lot of the RTS games that I had been playing were actually the original Dawn of War games, which is also where Select played a lot of. And for those who never played those games, what you'll know is that or what you should know is that they didn't have bases in quite the same way. There were what called control points, and there were just like tens and dozens of them around the map. And so you really needed to be highly mobile, spread out, be constantly sending out scouting units to be resecuring those. And when you had some, you could continue fortifying them and stuff, but it was just so dynamic. There was so much movement around the map, and that's something I really felt has been missing from StarCraft 2, unfortunately. So the idea of FRB was totally awesome to me.
Yes, indeed. So, is there cost efficiency messing with CVP? I think that's more or less just something that would be better discussed in the breadth of gameplay thread, as I really can't make any kind of intelligent contribution. Do you have anything that you would say about that?
Yeah, I would definitely just point people to the breadth of it gameplay thread. That's really where a lot of the balanced discussion should go on. And we're also going to be uploading replay packs of all of the games from the tournament. So if you want to, as the tournament is progressing, get in and check out the replays yourself so that you can kind of analyze them and see what's happening there. That would definitely be a good way to get some real data on it instead of right now, unfortunately, there's a lot of anecdote, people kind of making predictions, but no real data. And that's part of the reason why we're getting all of these games out there.
Yeah. Okay. I don't really see. Do you see any more questions that you'd like to
There
answer?
was one more question that was asked a little while ago. I'm going to
Okay.
try to hop back and CTM Killer asked, are we going to have another? And this can actually be used to answer two questions. Right now, we don't know if there's enough popular interest in just FRB to know if we will be definitely able to commit to doing another one. However, we very much would like to just continue with this project. It's been so awesome so far, and the community's been so great. And so, basically, if you guys like this, post about it and like follow, like tweet about it, do all of this awesome social media stuff that will make it very successful, and share the idea with everybody so that we can basically have enough viewers and have enough of a response that we'll be able to go back to sponsors and say, this is the return on your investment that you got. You should totally support us in doing more of this. And the second part of that I really quickly wanted to answer is that people were asking about who donated. We actually at a certain point started turning people away from
Yeah.
donations because we can't predict right now whether or not this is totally balanced. And we actually had a lot of people. There were like at least 6 or 7 that we ended up saying, unfortunately, we don't want to take right now. Just because if somebody discovers an imbalanced strategy and goes and wins like the $100 first place prize, that's kind of like, okay, they were clever, and so they walked away with a pretty good amount of money. If they go in and they win like $600 or something, if this like got absolutely huge, then like that's really not cool. Actually, they got a huge benefit for taking advantage of something that we didn't predict. And so what we wanted to do was run this tournament first and then try to get as many people as who are interested in contributing, all of them together, then talk to sponsors and really popularize the FRV Grand Tournament 2 as much as possible and attract just the amazing players that we want to have experimenting with this.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so I think we're ready to go on to the next game. How do you feel about that?
I think that that is fantastic.
All right, cool. So, guys, we will be right back for it. Now, I believe this is going to be the final game. Are we going to do any more after this, or what do you think?
At the moment, it is currently planned to be the final game. However, just kind of looking at how many people are live, and basically, people in the chat, type in if you want us to continue casting the current replays that we have rather than uploading them straight to VOD. You should definitely type in chat, let us know, and if there's a whole bunch of interest, we will keep on going.
All right, guys, so we'll be right back.